How did I end up here? Lying in your arms, watching city lights and the stars.
It's that time of year again, believe it or not, when the holidays are just around the corner. Sure came by super quick this time, like, being real here, August feels like it was only last week. Regardless of the constant fear and existential dread of how our time is limited and will all be dust soon, this time of year also brings with it a new list video. One that's a yearly tradition for this channel now. You know, other than videos immediately becoming outdated. Yeah, that's right, we're back talking about my favourite games again. Specifically, 10 of them. Like I always do, I probably should say that this list isn't centered around games that only released in said past year, because if that was the case, there'd literally only be like 4 entries, so yeah, I don't really tend to play many new games, even though every year I genuinely want to get into the habit of doing so. There are repeat entries on this list from past years, as there usually are with these, especially in the case of 3 present here today, maybe 4 in future, we'll see. But even so, it gives me another chance to talk about them, the games I love, and that's what my videos are for, to talk about the stuff I love. With the way that sounds, you'd think we're at the end of the video, but no, we're only just beginning. But before we do start, and because I can never decide on a consistent structure for these, I want to go over a few honourable mentions. First up, new Pokemon Snap. I spoke a lot about this one in my third video game variety hour video, and my opinions of it there do remain the same about how it's a great distraction and just a generally great game for the more casual audience of Pokemon. Even if Pokemon is already aimed towards a more casual RPG audience, but you know, it's honourable and not on the actual list itself because I haven't really touched it since I got the gameplay for the VGVH video, so yeah, that's why. Second up, Forza Horizon 5. With my love for the Horizon series and how generally fantastic MH5 is, with the main game easily being the best Horizon yet, it's a wonder why it's only an honourable mention. Well, that's because I feel like I haven't put enough time into it yet to justify it being on the list, so there you go. And finally, Helltaker. I've said a lot about Helltaker in the past, about how it's an amazing puzzle game with a great sense of personality, both in a review of the game itself and a later re-review of it that I did back in August, which followed a certain other game. And speaking of that certain other game, this now leads me into the list itself. Good transitions here on the channel of Lunar Odyssey? They're rarer than you think. That said, I welcome you to my top 10 favourite games, 2021 edition. I have to say, that was probably my best segue yet. Anyway, I've talked about GDLC Plus in length in my aforementioned revisits, so I will keep this brief, but I won't leave you hanging, don't worry. So, GDLC Plus is an updated version of the original indie horror hit, Doki Doki Literature Club, of which was released in 2017, featuring all new bonus side stories for events that happened before the base game and how all 4 girls met. Other bonus content was included, such as being able to listen to the OST, collectible images and artwork that included behind the scenes content, which I think is all pretty neat. And yeah, as a complete package, it's all very nice. Obviously, the main attraction was the side stories, and I think it was Sagan Hawks who said this, about the inclusion of these retroactively ruining what DDLC is, but I don't feel the same way. Honestly, the existence of these improve what DDLC is and make the events of the base game more hard-hitting. No disrespect to Sagan Hawks, by the way, I love the dude, I think he makes amazing stuff. I just thought it was an odd take. But anyway, when it comes to DDLC, as I explained in the review itself, it means a lot to me. Both the experience and characters really resonated with me, and the one thing I wanted most out of future DDLC content was to spend more time with the characters, and that's exactly what I got with DDLC Plus and its side stories. I mean, sure, having played through the base game so many times in a short period of time, mostly for the review, hasn't helped my overall opinion too much, but it's not like my overall opinion on GDLC as an entity itself has been affected in any major way. I still love GDLC. I loved DDLC Plus. Plus, as mentioned in the review, DDLC is what got me into running as a full-time hobby, so in a biased kind of way, I love everything about DDLC. Bonus sensitivity warning: if you are susceptible, please proceed with caution. Otherwise, skip to the timestamp you see on screen right now. I'll give you a bit of time. Another game I've talked about previously this year, and it won't be the last, funny enough, in the same video where I talked about new Pokemon Snap, Tetris Effect is an experience. I don't mean to big up all, I mean it's Tetris, we all know what Tetris is, but whereas gameplay is expected and standard, where Tetris Effect Connected really shines are the other aspects that make a game, the visuals, sound design, and music. While your mileage may vary on that first one, TEC is an utter marvel in the sense that, oh boy, I think what you're seeing in the background speaks for itself, but because of YouTube compression and whatnot, a lot might be lost on you. It's kind of difficult to really say anything about Tetris Effect because of how, well, it is just Tetris at the end of the day. But I have come to love Tetris thanks to this game, and it's just one of those pieces of media where you're better off experiencing it for yourself. My apologies if it does sound like I'm talking as if Effect is a transcendental experience, but yeah, no, that's because it is. Tetris Effect Connected is an experience and I implore you to get lost in it. Right out of the gate, Nitro-Fueled is one of the best kart races I've ever played in terms of its gameplay. It's not my favourite kart racer, that one we'll see in a few moments, but it is very close to that moniker, and probably would be if it weren't for a few grievances I had. I'm getting ahead of myself here, however, so let's just take it slow. Nitro-Fueled is the remake of the original Crash Team Racing, originally released in 1997, featuring all the content from there, along with content from Crash Nitro Kart, tracks, battle arenas, characters. Nitro-Fueled is, without a doubt, the definitive Crash racing game. Honestly, the amount of content here is amazing, even featuring customization for your characters and cars. There's so much to sink your teeth into and mess around with, but the customization thing does come with an asterisk next to it. That being, there are microtransactions. See, as you play it, you'll earn Wampa Fruit, which you can use to buy stuff from the in-game store, but you tend to get really paltry amounts, and it can take a super long time to save up for more significant items, like the bundles, and it's designed this way to encourage you to buy the microtransactions, and this just sucks. There are no two ways about it. What's worse is that these microtransactions weren't present at launch. Yep. Usually, microtransactions don't bother me to a great extent, especially if they're in a free-to-play game because, you know, you gotta keep the lights on somehow. But Nitro-Fueled isn't free, and they were implemented in such a scummy and backhanded way that it kind of ruins my opinion as a whole. Now, that's a real shame because otherwise, Nitro-Fueled is a fantastic game, not only for the aforementioned sheer volume of content for a kart racer, but also because it offers such a fun and gratifying gameplay experience, featuring Nitro Kart's boost meter functionality, which molds together perfectly with the amazing sense of speed and bounce from the original, and man, it's generally such a fun and satisfying game to master, and it all just flows perfectly. Nitro-Fueled has so many amazing things going for it. I love what I've just mentioned and more, such as the tracks themselves all being super fun to race on and not one even being close to bad. Maybe Drive Through Danger, I hate the colours on that one, but never mind that. For these reasons, it's annoying that the microtransaction debacle has to be a thing. Regardless though, Nitro-Fueled is still a great experience. I mean, I have yet to spend even a single penny on the microtransactions, and I've gotten on pretty fine, so I guess it depends on your mileage, but even so. And hey, how many games let you play as a box in a go-kart? Not many, I bet, so Nitro-Fueled is a huge winner in that regard. Elephant in the room here, in terms of gameplay, as I said, Nitro-Fueled is the better kart racer by a mile. But in terms of personal experience, MK8 Deluxe takes the winning podium. I'll start with racing puns now. So yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the enhanced re-release of Mario Kart 8, the original one from 2014, now featuring an actual battle mode with battle arena maps. Still a mystery why the original only had watered down version of the battle mode, but hey, we got what we wanted eventually, so there's something. Anyway, I've said this before, but MK8 Deluxe to me is the definitive Mario Kart experience. So many characters to choose from, I'm Luigi/Rosalina main, including some returning ones, 10 Grand Prix Cups with 48 tracks to choose from, the aforementioned battle mode, it's a great experience. I mean, yeah, it's Mario Kart, everyone loves Mario Kart, but MK8 Deluxe is so much more. And to cut to the chase here, the personal experience part was to do with the fact that this is the Mario Kart I've played most with people. Friends, family, the latter more so in recent years, playing with others can really enhance the experience of playing games. Keep what I said in mind there, that will come into play again later. All the split screen footage you've been seeing and are seeing here is all from a very recent play session I had with my mum and sister, and it was so fun. Both of them don't really play video games, but they enjoy playing Mario Kart every time, and I think that speaks volume of the series' appeal. A strong personal bias maybe, but disregarding the opinion for something like that in particular feels wrong. I absolutely adore the Mario Kart series. I love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Hell, I even remade my old favourite MK8 tracks list that I really enjoyed remaking earlier this year, so cheap plug for that, I guess. Another game I've spoken a lot about this year, and just recently too in a full review of it, so another cheap plug? I'm doing a lot of that recently. In all seriousness though, given how recent it is, I am going to direct you that way if you want to hear my thoughts in detail on it, because I am genuinely proud and happy with how it turned out. Nothing wrong with that, eh? So, yeah, my apologies, but you know. But I will say again how I did have a good time with Brilliant Diamond, even despite some issues I had with it. That name genuinely aged super well, didn't it? This is truly the ultimate Smash Bros. Just, damn. Over 80 characters. That's just insane for a fighting game. You can't give someone like me so much choice. I get anxious just trying to decide between milk chocolate and dark chocolate. Interesting choice of metaphor aside, I've always loved Smash, ever since I first played Brawl back in 2011, and Ultimate is the best experience I've ever had with the series. Had to lock by the humongous character roster, of course, but also because it generally feels great to play. You can feel the love and care put into every single pixel of Ultimate by the team behind it. It's all such an amazing product. The presentation, the amount of music present, the obvious gameplay variety that comes with a large number of characters, all having different movesets, disregarding Yanko fighters of course, the aforementioned attention to detail, it's all the stuff of legends and people who truly love their game. And to keep talking about it, the characters. Look at this lineup. Look at it. Just, what do you even say about this? This is all crazy. As someone who is not necessarily well versed in actually playing a lot of games, but just happens to be super knowledgeable about a lot of them, it all feels surreal to me. Like, it's kind of like a dream you can wake up from any second, you know? Apologies for waxing poetic there, but like, where else are you gonna see a roster of this caliber? The PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale shows? Oh wait, that's only one game. Never mind then. The character thing aside for a second, I do also just generally enjoy Smash Ultimate. Every now and again, I'll boot it up to play a few matches and then I'll put it down again. It's not close to being my most played game, but I do still have a significant number of hours clocked, which makes it weird to see I'm strictly a casual player. But that's because I always have fun whenever I do play it, so I tend to play it often in short bursts as to not grow tired of it. I also don't take it too seriously, and that kind of mindset can help you with games, I feel. Saves you from growing frustrated with it or tired of it over time. I generally play on my own because the friends I have that do play it are often busy, but even so, to sound like a broken record here, I do still have fun with it. If there is one complaint I do have with Ultimate, it's the kind of shallow feeling single player options. There really isn't a lot here. Sure, you've got your standard classic mode and even home run contests, but you've got no dedicated story modes like in Brawl. Now, I mean, I know the Sunspace emissary wasn't the greatest thing man's ever created, but it was definitely something, and the idea of different franchise characters interacting in this kind of way was a fun idea, and something that I'm sure many, including myself, would and have been salivating over if something similar was present in Ultimate. Do any of you remember that Smash meme going around in like 2020 I think, where people would imagine characters interacting in certain scenarios? Anyway, besides that, however, Smash Ultimate is a fantastic game and damn, I'm still in disbelief of how the Fire Pass thing ended. I still have yet to play through any Kingdom Hearts game, but the reaction to Sora and Smash is something you can only find with Smash. Ultimate, once again, is and probably always will be the ultimate Smash game. No matter its place, I think Overwatch is always going to be on this list. The day it isn't will be a very dark day indeed. I have spoken about Overwatch in length in the past. Hell, its playlist has the most videos of any of my series playlists in it for a reason. Besides me just milking it, of course. Nah, I'm kidding. Overwatch will always be a favourite of mine thanks to my personal experience with it. Besides the somehow still fun and interesting hero-based form of FPS gameplay, the personal experience aspect of Overwatch is what really makes it for me. I have met so many great friends through Overwatch, including the legends themselves, Atom and It Still Stick, both of whom are two of my best friends to this day, and well, that's just really special to me. That can't simply be looked over or disregarded, no matter how directionless Overwatch may seem nowadays. To add on to that, this year I started uploading a little series where I play Overwatch pickup games, practice competitive games essentially, with a whole bunch of friends under the group name, The Clown Parade. And the whole thing of playing 6v6 custom games with so many amazing friends has been an invaluable experience. I've loved every single second of it. It's been one of my favourite series to make, even if I really don't have to, for a reason. And that's because playing games with people, especially one of your favourite games of all time, can be such an amazing experience. Whether it's playing with 1 or 2 people, or playing with 11 others, Overwatch can still be fun. People on Twitter need to stop being so mean, even if some of their criticisms are extremely valid. Anyway, Overwatch will be higher for these reasons alone, but the next 3 games all managed to edge it out, even if just slightly. Thanks guys, you all really made Overwatch and my year so much better for me. Truly, it all means the world. Tales of Arise is... wow. Genuinely, Arise is the best impulse purchase I've ever made in my life. No competition. Yeah, seriously. I was out one day and after seeing them talk about Arise on my feed here and there, along with a certain interest in a certain character, I thought to try it out and oh my god. So Arise was my introduction to the Tales of series. Well, technically that was Tales of Persia, but I saw a review of that rather than actually playing it for myself, but nevertheless, with Arise being my first Tales of, I honestly don't think I could have had a better introduction. Every aspect I looked for in the game Arise had and kept me hooked from start to finish. To elaborate, from my tone pole of priorities, if you will, for what I look for in the game. First is the characters, second is the gameplay, third is the music, fourth is the story, and fifth are the graphics. Tales of Arise excelled in all of these. To an extent to one or two, maybe, but nonetheless. Now, seeing as Arise is relatively recent at the time of this video, I won't go too in depth, but I am still going to talk about it. So, if you want to skip ahead to avoid spoilers, here's your timestamp on screen now. I'll give you a bit of time. It will literally just be a very brief summary though, but the option's still there if you want to take it. In terms of story, Arise is focused, but also lacks focus? It's difficult to explain, but to give you an idea, towards the beginning, you're learning how to wield a blazing sword, spoken of in legends in the lore of Arise, and then skip about 25 plus hours later in, and it turns out your character is a test subject of sorts, and has a connection to another test subject that another character in your party is a descendant of, and you're both what's referred to as sovereigns, powerful figures in the story, and oh boy. I probably made the story sound way more unfocused than it actually is, I realise, but that's just how it feels. I don't think it's bad, granted, I had fun with it, but man, sure was quite the subversion of expectations, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, moving on to the characters now, and oh my god, I love this cast so much. For real, every single character in the main cast here is a hit. Alfin, Shun, Rimwell, Law, Kisara, and Dolan, they are all so good, and genuinely well written characters that maybe they're my absolute favourite cast of characters in any game. I'm not 100% on that yet, however, so I don't want to officially declare that or anything. Just in case it's something like a recency bias, which I know can play a part in things sometimes, so you know. For my favourite character, and it may sound kind of generic, I'd say Alfin, honestly, who is our main protagonist in the story. Alfin being calm, composed, and protective of his friends may not sound particularly interesting or even unique for a JRPG main character, but his headstrong and sometimes strong emotional reactions to things make for an engaging character to follow, honestly. At least, for me anyway. Plus, I pretty much exclusively played as Alfin throughout the entirety of the game, so maybe that has something to do with it too, I don't know. For the gameplay of Arise, it's an action RPG, so think something like Kingdom Hearts, and man, the flow of the gameplay is fantastic. It's fast, it's kinetic, special moves look amazing, there's never a dull moment, and it's not like it's mindless either, punishing you for getting too spam heavy and rewarding you for dodging at the last second to avoid damage completely and getting the bonus attack. Kind of like Witch type from Bayonetta, if you will, except less stylish of course, because you can't beat Bayonetta in style. Sorry, anyway, I had an amazing time with Rise. Truthfully, I started asking myself, when does this game end at around the 35-hour mark, because I honestly didn't expect it to go longer than 30. Mainly due to how I thought the story had hit its climax at the 30-hour mark, despite leaving itself open for more story. I even think 30 hours would have been a good stopping point, despite the scenes being planned for more, so I guess you could say I was morally conflicted. Then again, I do greatly appreciate when there's a lot to do, and Arise was definitely a justifiable purchase because of that. An impulse purchase, no less. A blessing in disguise, really. And even 50 hours in, with me now being in the post-game, I know I'm not even close to done, and that excites me. I'm looking forward to playing more of Tales of Arise, both for continuing my first playthrough and for wherever my second happens. Oh, hand time, how I love you so. I've told the story about this in my list last year, but up until last year I had always wanted to play a hand time, but just never got the opportunity to do so, and so when I finally did, I had to question why it took me so long because Hand Time is an incredible game. Its worlds are so fun to explore and full of life, the writing is absolutely on point. I do still laugh a lot of this stuff. The gameplay feels fast and fluent, even if Hackett does feel a bit too floaty for my liking. And the music. Oh my god, the music! It is absolutely incredible! I think I said this in my I Love Video Game Music video, but if not, I'll say it here. A Hand Time has my absolute favourite soundtrack in any video game. Seriously. Composed by the likes of Grant Kirkhope of Banjo-Kazooie fame, and Pascal Michael Stifel, it's no wonder the soundtrack is so good with talent like this behind it. If you want a few examples of what tracks I think are standouts, allow me. The main theme of the game? Yes, really. A spaceship. Welcome to my Town. Timepiece released. Picture perfect. The Battle of War 42. Subcon Forest. Oh, it's you. The contract has expired. Because of course. Clock Towers beneath the sea. You are all bad guys, phases 1 through 3. Goodbye everyone. The End. Peace and Tranquility. Nyakuza Metro, as it's called. And Rush Hour. That is way more than a few, I know, but I really just had to make the point of how much good music A Hat in Time has, including the DLC. Yeah, A Hat in Time got DLC expansions in the form of Seal the Deal and Yakuza Metro, both offering their own worlds to explore and timepieces to collect, and the former offering a bonus challenge mode that I have attempted but cannot make any progress because I am bad at video games. And as for the DLC themselves, yeah, they're pretty damn good. I bought them both in April of this year and immediately started playing through them. And while I don't think too highly of the Arctic Cruise world offered in Seal the Deal, where I do feel strongly though, is the Yakuza Metro. Oh my god, I love this place. It's kind of weird, I tend to seem to reverse this opinion a lot, but in any case, I personally found exploring and completing this world super enjoyable. I just adore how it looks, having this cat theme to it, hence Yakuza Metro. I mean, seriously, platforming world based in a metro, where else have you seen that done before? So fun, so vibrant with its colour choice, player secrets to discover in the form of stickers, loads of crevasses to explore. For someone like me who loves open worlds to this kind of calibre, this was a dream come true. Maybe it's my recency bias speaking there with that last comment, but I generally loved Nyakuza Metro for all of what I just mentioned and, of course, the music, 2 pieces of which I named in the little music section a number of paragraphs ago. A Hat in Time is just an incredible indie game. I'm still so unbelievably happy that I finally got to play it last year. I will definitely be continuing to play it with future playthroughs. I think I said this last year, but I like driving the point home. A Hat in Time is a wonderful time. I would love to go into more detail, but I'll save that for a proper review somewhere down the line. It's definitely on the table for one, that's for sure. We don't do surprises here. You all saw this coming. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. For 3 years now, it has been my favourite game of the year, and it's practically impossible to ever see that changing. This game means so much to me. Maybe not in the sense that Overwatch does, in terms of meeting people through it, but rather how it left its mark on me. Not only as one of the best stories I've ever seen be told in a video game, but also because how it's truly amazing characters, like the Girls of DLC, strongly resonated with me in a way that I can't really explain, other than their existence as characters have had an effect on my life in some way or form. XC2's narrative contains themes of belonging, existence, nihilism, hopelessness, identity, and even more subtle themes like suicide in some cases, such as, for example, in the case of Pyra. Pyra is one half of the Aegis in XC2, her other half being Mithra, and the Aegis is XC2's equivalent of God, if you will. On the surface, Pyra is a lovable and sweet, well-intentioned girl, but under the surface, she's depressed. She wants to die. Mithra, her other half, unfortunately left her with the memories of what happened 500 years ago, when Mithra sank Titans to the bottom of the Cloud Sea, depicted in the events of Torn in the Golden Country, the prequel to XE2. Mithra created her other self, Pyra, as a sort of inhibitor for her power, to seal her full power away, and Pyra knowing this, feels guilty for everything, and she wants to die, so she asks Rex, our main protagonist in the story, to take her to the creator of this world so she can ask him to let her die. You're probably wondering why she can't just, well, you know, but that's because she's also what's known as a blade, which is essentially a being drawn from great power within these things called core crystals to aid drivers, the name of leads in battle, and are pretty much immortal, the only caveat being that they return to the core crystals when their driver dies, losing their memories of their previous lives, eventually being reawakened by a new driver. And Pyra being the Aegis, this isn't a freedom that's granted to her. She and her memories are eternal. That is honestly heavy storytelling. Sure, you have to read into some of it, but it's there, the subtext is present, and it's really dark. And this kind of storytelling isn't a one-time occurrence either, there's plenty of it scattered throughout. Where some people see a silly anime game that features characters with big assets, I genuinely see a game with masterful storytelling. Just because it's not right in your face, as most bits of storytelling shouldn't be, it doesn't mean it should be overlooked. Pyra is one of my favourite characters in gaming for this reason alone, and it's not just her. The entire main cast of XE2 is really good, all being these deep, multifaceted characters that I see a lot of people writing off for aforementioned reasons, such as the anime-esque art style and certain character designs, but I feel that's a huge discredit. I mean, does that mean you're writing off anime in general? Are you saying all anime have bad stories? That's quite the leap, I realise, but I do think anime equals bad is not at all a valid critique in any kind of way. It's not the take you think it is, people. Back to the topic at hand, the cast of XE2 kept me engaged from start to finish. I mean that too. Besides continuing on with the story and, more cynically, having another game completed, I kept coming back for the characters. All of them kept me engaged and captivated. I wanted to see what they would do next, what they would go through, how they would overcome it, how things would turn out for them. Those are the marks of a strongly written cast. And hey, to lift the spirits a little, because I imagine I've been sounding a little heartfelt but somber up to this point, can I just talk about how incredible the soundtrack of XE2 is? Like, genuinely amazing stuff all around. So many fantastic pieces to fit so many different moods. For example, for action heavy moments, you've got stuff like counterattack, incoming, crossing swords. You will recall our names, and Deathmatch Returner. For the more upbeat or relaxed moments, you have stuff like Gormot's Day Theme, Fonza Mimer's Night Theme, Argentum's Day Theme, and Mordane's Day Theme, just to name a few. And for more emotional, heavy moments, you've got pieces like Elysium in the Dream, A Faint Hope, Loneliness, The Tomorrow with You, Drifting Soul, and One Last You. Again, just to name a few. It's truly an amazing soundtrack, and if it weren't for A Hat in Times, XE2's would be my absolute favourite, but it is a close second though. For as much as I would love to, I probably shouldn't go on for too much longer. I mean, I really want to make a proper review of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just so I can talk in great painful length about it, but here's the thing about that. I said to myself a long time ago that if I ever make a review on XE2, it will be my last video ever, so yeah, having said that, at the same time, I'm not exactly in a rush to do so. It's because XE2 means so much to me, and I would most definitely go to the whole 9 yards without a doubt, so anything afterwards would just seem kind of pointless, I guess? Anyhow, I still have this type of list to talk about it in, so I took my chance. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so much. It means the absolute goddamn world to me. And I hope that, in some way, I've made you understand why. But, if not, may I recommend you check out Conroy's extensive XE2 Let's Play he just finished up after 220 episodes. It's truly a magnificent and intricately put together LP that extensively covers everything about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's truly his best project to date. I don't think I'll ever stop loving this game. It's honestly a masterpiece in so many aspects in my eyes. The last entry was probably not surprising at all to long-time viewers or those close to me, but what can I say? I love what I love, and there's nothing wrong with that. These lists are a way for me to talk about what I love, and what I'm passionate about, namely, video games. I feel like negativity gets way too much attention on the internet, and what does negativity create but more negativity, so that's why I've always tried to avoid negative topics. What's the point in being so angry all the time, you know? I want to spread positivity with my stuff. That's always been my intention with this channel. I hope that this video is no different. After all, what's more positive than talking about your favourite thing that's a byproduct of your favourite thing?